So I'm just going to ask Dennis to come up and give us, for day 2, his concluding thoughts and reflections on the day.
It's my job to try to pull things together, and I think I'm going to need more arms than an octopus, I think, to get this pulled together in a few words, but I'll try my best. And I think just to start off, there's been a wonderful sharing of experience and wisdom and intention and commitment and dedication here today that has been at least beyond what I expected. And I feel very strongly that we've had an extremely successful day as we work our way towards network the noun by doing network the verb. And you've done that all today, and you'll do more later today, and you'll do some more tomorrow. We started this morning with Nina and Howard, both American friends who have come here to help us out with their huge amount of wisdom, as you saw there this morning. The amount of wisdom in the 3 speakers this morning and experience was beyond what I imagined. They have between them, I calculate, about 150 years worth of experience, but I won't put the arithmetic on anybody. The amount of sagacity was just incredible. I thought that they were very direct. I thought that they were very good, and I think they were very directional for the rest of us here in their own way, in a leadership way as opposed to a directorship way. From Patrick's point of view, I think that was smashingly amazing as well. That he clearly is a fellow of persuasion and conviction and tenacity and all those words. And it appears from Patrick the only thing you can't do in Australia is throw away your boomerang. I think that's the only thing he can't do is throw away his boomerang. Just again, some highlights as we go through this. The Generation Canyon is coming at me all day from just about everybody I speak to. The youth component here is something that, from the point of view of the whole process, is obvious that we have to have as an inherent part of the network in some kind of embrace of the youth advocates. So I put that out to you now, and I feel it. I'm not the decider, but I would suggest to you that the youth component here is extremely important. Again, going back to my alligators in the river thing, we need the youth involved here, and we need them inherently involved, not peripherally involved. We had some wonderful comments today from our 3 youth advisors, very perceptive and very, again, wise for their age, knowledgeable, and all those things that surprise us when they speak. Again, the question of things that were said this morning in context, and I'll reiterate them because I thought they were significant. Unleash the noise. I think we have to go there. I think we have to be sure that we do not miss that boat. Social justice, another big issue. We have to measure and weigh what we do for our children in their formative years compared to what we do for everybody else. We have to, again, think big but start small. Again, a ladder, we can get on the bottom rung first. You can't get on the top rung first. So we have to get on the bottom rung, work our way up, and that's the concept that was put across by the people who spoke this morning. Early detection seemed to be pervading all of the discussion. Early detection has its own implications. As we work to put together a blueprint for what we want to do, I would remind you that that will probably be the easiest part of this, believe it or not. The hardest part of this will be implementation, as we have, as you know, 13 jurisdictions across the country. And if you really want to expand that concept, as was said here just a moment ago, we really have 14 if we include the Aboriginal component. So, again, being sort of bullet style in this little presentation. Substance abuse, largely involved in this whole concept. We have to address that. I am aware of a model that's called portage. Anybody familiar with portage? Okay, a wonderful model with about a 70% yield. It's a domestic model where the youth go there for 4, 5, 6 months. Its head office is here in Montreal. They have service in New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, PEI, here in Quebec. I believe had some in Maine that come over to these services, and in British Columbia. A domestic model, as I said, where the youth go there with their addiction for 3, 4, 5 months, and they're educated while they're there formally with the curriculum of the particular province. And they have some interesting things too. They have a MIDA program, MIDA, which is mental illness drug addiction. And in our system in Canada, the drug addiction people will not see the mental illness people. The mental illness people will not see the drug addiction people. So they fall clearly between the tracks and end up generally on a heating duct in a street. Those are people who are in the streets. They're the ones with the combination deficits. The other thing that's novel that Portage has is they have mother with infant service, so that you don't have to separate the mother from an infant when she wants to go and have treatment, which is an interesting approach. Again, just information. I heard this morning a non-stigmatizing service. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that was Patrick that said that. How could it be more clear than us thinking about a mental health clinic for youth addiction as opposed to Headspace? It couldn't be more clear that we have to be very careful about the nomenclature and how we do this, that it is a place that does not add stigma right in the name. E-mental health, I'm sure the youth people have mentioned it to me about 6 times today, and we have to go where they are. We have to, I think, in the process that Patrick had said, we're looking at high volume, low intensity maladies that will ferret themselves up to high intensity, low volume. And we have to keep in mind that that's how the system works. Another thing that was said, and I think by Patrick, no nihilism. This can be done. And if we go out of this room tomorrow saying to ourselves, this can be done and will be done, for the benefit of the youth with mental health challenges, then we'll get it right. So we have to make sure that the objective remains the service to these young people, which we are not doing very well. And I'm part of the component that's doing it very well as a general practitioner in New Brunswick, because the general practice system has failed in this area miserably and continues to do so. And I don't want to get into that, but it's just not an avenue that is working or will work. Families, we have to be sure that the families are involved in this whole process just as much as the youth. That came out. We heard from some other people during the day with their presentations. Louise had talked about basically getting things done. She was a hypertime, and youth involvement she talked about as well. Mireille had spoken at length there, and her thing about patient engagement, public engagement, family engagement. That was what I grabbed out of her message, okay? Very strong concepts that we have to weld together, put in the salad of things we have to do as we work our way through this process. In the Canadian context, we have to now put together a new adolescent mental health strategy and an action plan for implementation. And I did say the action plan for implementation will be our toughest job, that will be where it becomes very, very difficult. We also want to say to you that the raison d'etre of this whole process of the workshop was, number one, to have you all meet, number two, to get you all to know each other and eventually work with each other, and number three, to try to give you an idea of what is coming and what we would expect as the process rolls out and evolves. We talked about leveraging, and we were under no delusions at the level of the Graham Beck Foundation or CIHR that 25 million is not a huge amount of money, but it is seed money in our concept. And if we do the right things with that 25 million, there will be 100 right behind it. So we have to understand that if we go looking for the 100, we may not get it, but we have this 25 and we can make this work. We can make this work so well, and if we do our work well, and the product that we produce is not only effective and efficacious is the word, and reliable, and then it will sell itself. And the talent to do that is not at this table here. It's at your table. Okay, it's not in the panel. It's in your work as you put together your network. As I said, network the noun, as you do network the verb. We need your vision. We need your support. We need your cooperation. We need your insight, and we need your experience. And we also need to know that this process is evolving as we go, because it is a process. If we all knew what to do, panel members and myself, we would do it. We need you to tell Canadians how this should happen, given the parameters that we spoke about here and the definition of the problems that we have seen as we do our work every day. There is room for everybody, as I said, and as far as coalescing your groups, then you can coalesce whatever way you want. The teams can join one or two or three of the other units. It matters not, but what I am saying to you is what I said yesterday with a little further explanation. There's room in this process for everybody in this room. If there is a network, again the noun, that is chosen and decided on, then anybody else here can relate to that network. And the network itself can solicit opinion, information, and research from any of those agencies and fund it. Not only that, but those agencies who work sort of subcontracted to the network can also go to CIHR for further funding. So we do have that kind of general plan, and I really congratulate you on a hard day's work. It's not easy to go through these things. Yeah, as I said yesterday, again, the brain wears out and the butt kind of wears out as well. So we need more dialogue from you tonight, tomorrow. We need sharing of information, and we need a coalescence of direction. And I congratulate you on what has happened this afternoon in your deliberations. Let me just see if there's anything else I have to do here. If not, I just have to ask if there's any Newfoundlanders in the room. Hey? No. I just want to know if there's a Newfoundlander in the room besides me. Okay, I can tell a joke. Is there one? Okay, you okay with that? All right. All day we've been listening to Ross and have this wonderful sort of resonant British accent, which we listen to and we look at. And it's a story about a Newfoundlander who wasn't doing too well in life because he had a very flat accent like John Crosby and so on and so forth. And he decided that if he was going to get further ahead in life, he needed to go to England and go to a school of diction and learn the Queen's English properly. So that's what he did. He went for 6 months to England and he learned how to speak the Queen's English very well. But with Newfoundland, you can't fly into Newfoundland from Europe. You have to fly to Toronto and then go back to Newfoundland, you see. So he landed in Toronto and he had a 7-hour wait over. He said, my God, he said, I'm really anxious to try my new accent. So he said, he's going to go downtown. So he goes downtown, goes into this place, this store. He goes up to the counter. And a gentleman came along. He said, good day, my good man. He said, yes, sir, what would you like? He said, I would like some potatoes, some tomatoes, and a banana. And he said, you're from Newfoundland, aren't you? He said, how could you possibly know that I was from Newfoundland? He said, this is a hardware store. Have a good evening. We'll see you later. Thank you very much.